So let's wind up and let's get started. I could recap, but let's hit a bunch of territory no one's ever heard before. You ready?
Let's go.
Tell me again, because you already gave them the teaser about 9/11 in the movies. Tell us what you know.
Well, from what I have on the site.
Okay, go ahead. Tell us what you know. I mean, just a little brief, something to stir up interest to people that aren't familiar with it.
We're now referring to the events of that day. We're referring to the embedding of 9/11 prior to the event. Is that what you want?
Yes.
All right. Make a long story short, I did a show about 2-3 years ago. An Australian by the name of John Valentini heard it. He was motivated to start combing through movies. And then all of a sudden people started sending him things. And then what we've done is he sent them to me and I put them on the website. There may be some coincidences, but there are some that cannot be such. And if you go to the website, you'll find 9/11. I mean, not hidden. I mean, 9/11 on the screen. Sometimes a snapshot, if you would, of the camera cut to. It could be a countdown at like an Independence Day on a computer, where you see 3 ticks of a digital clock: 9:10, 9:11, 9:12. One quick one, Alan. I'll get out of here because I think this is really potent, and it's a subliminal and it's obvious at the same time. In the movie Gremlins, there is a shot of a dashboard in a car in the days when you had the in-dash units that were only AM. The indicator needle that shows what station is on is between 9 and 11, which are the only. There's no 10 on an AM dial. Mm-hmm. Now, is that a big deal? Not necessarily, but the model of the radio says Sapphire XI. XI obviously is 11 in Roman numerals. Sapphire is the stone for September. Now, tell me about that. So anyway, that's what we got up there, and I would hope people would peruse that as you go on and speak. Go ahead, Al.
Well, didn't you bring up the Lone Gunman? Are you familiar with it?
Yes, the Lone Gunman's pilot show, yes.
The pilot show, there's something was brought to my attention by a close associate in California, but the best one is The Long Kiss Goodnight.
Yes.
We don't have to tell them what it's going to say. They can't miss it. If they have turned off their emotions, forget getting caught up into the plot of the movie. It's not real. It has nothing to do with reality. Turn off your emotions. Turn up your consciousness and watch the movie, and you can't miss it. It's big as life. Just remember who's speaking and what they say about blaming a lot of deaths in America, who they're going to blame it on.
We have that up on the site as well.
Okay. Well, I only mention it for purposes if someone's new. Let's jump into new territory. Let's see. Grassy Knoll. That reminds me. How about the Manchurian Candidate, the original movie?
Better than the second one, absolutely.
I haven't even been to see the second one. Probably never will. What's really strange about the Manchurian Candidate is the timing and the name game. They play games with symbols, with embedded words. I mean, they're masters of manipulation. So I will never get over finding the Manchurian Candidate after it was allowed to be viewed. Do you know the history of Frank Sinatra taking it off the shelves?
No.
Okay. This movie was made in 1962, and I would advise anyone to get their hands on the original copy today. I've often wondered if some damaging evidence isn't obscured by making the new movie, and no one will go out to see the old one. So in 1962, Frank Sinatra is starring in his second movie, which deals with presidential assassination. And, of course, it goes back to a novel, and it's dealing with brainwashing, Korean style. This is where we first heard the word brainwashing, POWs from the Korean War. And it's an excellent movie, but there's some deep stuff hidden in it. Let me get your attention. What year did I say the movie was made?
62.
62. There are some other stars that are usually on the cover. And, of course, I want you to listen carefully to the nameplay. The woman is Janet Leigh. And, of course, the other actor, the assassin, is Lawrence Harvey. This is a coincidence, yes? I said Janet.
Lee Harvey.
And Lawrence Harvey. Yesterday we were discussing how far ahead of time our major events planned, because we were discussing novels that were so exact to the event but written years ahead of time. Isn't that correct?
That is true.
Today we're discussing movies This is 62.
Well, that could be a coincidence, though.
It could be a coincidence, but listen to this. It's how much circumstantial evidence can you pile up? Who was riding in the car with JFK? Was there a Big John in the movie? Angela Lansbury, who is doing the manipulation of her son's mind, gives you a cue in the movie that is absolutely scary. She kisses her son's in one scene, she kisses her son on the lips.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, I think I read Transformation, and mind control subjects were always chosen from families that practiced incest. Now, why did Frank Sinatra grab the reels and took every 35-millimeter reel in the country and no one could see it for 25 years? If we're just talking circumstantial evidence. You can make a movie. Only the producer may know. He can pick the actors, pick the names to play the name game, do the whole scenario, knowing what's coming, and the actors themselves don't have a clue.
Oh, true.
So, my advice is that's a good place to start, but we can move on. Remember, that's a 1962 movie. Get it, watch it, and then go read Transformation of America by Kathy O'Brien and see if the two don't dovetail together. And you'll be learning a whole lot about triggers and all kinds of things. My next favorite thing I like to talk about is the James Bond movies. Are you a Bond fan, yes or no?
The originals.
The originals. What do you mean the originals? What are you saying?
I was a Sean Connery guy.
You were a Sean Connery. Okay, here we go. Ian Fleming worked naval intelligence. Naval intelligence in every country is tops. We're talking Russia, we're talking England, we're talking the USA. Go back in history and see how many Navy men became head of the CIA. So he worked across the street from number 10 Downing, where the Prime Minister was located at. The James Bond books were written between 1953 and 1965. The original 13 novels. Of course, the First Lady in the United States was quoted as being a James Bond fan. These were not fictitious books.
No.
They were facts disguised as fiction to introduce to the people of the world certain avenues of thought where they had never been before. It was naval intelligence from Britain. They were trying to get even. I can't expound on what I'm about to say next. The royal family had been blackmailed over an incident from the 1800s. Fleming was trying to strike back at the powerful people who manipulated the world. But who is going to go back today and read an original Ian Fleming James Bond book? So then the movies came out. And, of course, the first one was Dr. No. And several movies followed. And Fleming was often on the set. Dr. No came out in 1962. So during the filming of Goldfinger in 1964, Fleming was on the set, and he was shoved by the powers that be because they changed the movie from the way he asked it to be presented. So if you'll remember in the movie, Ari Goldfinger did not steal the gold from Fort Knox, which is in the original book. He set off a radioactive bomb to control the world's price of gold because he himself had a large quantity of gold. Fleming said he didn't want the movie presented that way. An argument ensued because, hey, it's just fiction, correct?
All right.
No, it was hardcore intelligence disguised as fiction. Ian Fleming was assassinated in 1964 because of this incident. Of course, you read it in Life magazine. The poor man had a heart attack. After Goldfinger, the powers that be have controlled the James Bond movies. Every James Bond movie is hardcore intelligence mocking the public because they don't know anything and they do not know what the script is. And every Bond movie will absolutely tell you what's going on or what will happen next. Shall we go back to grassy old conspiracies?
Sure.
How about the Gemstone Files?
I'm not familiar with them.
You're not familiar with them. You can find them on the internet. It's gone back and forth, back and forth. If anyone's studying the JFK assassinations, they need to get into the Gemstone Files. read the whole scenario, and once you master it, you will find out that Diamonds Are Forever is based on the Gemstone Files.